Hello everyone. I'm Vishal. So today I welcome you again on our new video. In this particular video, I'm going to show you one AI tool which is an advanced web scraper. Name is Crawl4AI. So let me just walk you through with the features it has. But before walking you through with the features, till then I can start installing its dependencies, and till then I can walk you through with the features and why this particular tool is very important. What all kind of use cases we can solve by using this particular tool, right? So let me just go towards the installation over here, and yeah. So I already created my environment in VS Code. So let me just activate that particular environment over here. Uh, Activate. Let me now install the package over here. Okay, so till then we are installing this particular package. It will take some time, like 2 minutes around time, in order to install this. But yeah, I can walk you through with the features. So this is the official GitHub repo of this particular tool. Okay, so let me just start with the features. What features it provides, right? So I will also talk about the I will show you one comparison where like why this particular tool is helpful, right? In order to we do have some traditional scrappers, which is Beautiful Soup and Selenium, right? So where this particular tool is much better if we talk about the traditional scrappers, right? Um, so yeah, like this particular tool we can use for advanced web crawling. By advanced, I mean we can easily, without wasting much time, in order to configure the traditional scrappers. We talk about Selenium. It takes long time, it takes some more time in order to configure the browser and like the drivers and all, right? So these things are like very pretty frustrating, right? So these things are resolved in this particular tool, so we don't no need to waste a lot of time in order to configure the drivers. And even though converting one format into another is also very helpful, like we can convert HTML into raw markdown. This is very easily we can do it by using this particular tool. And yeah, let me just so this particular tool uh, is very helpful when it comes to providing like input to the LLMs, which is clean. And yeah, so this particular tool provides us features where we can filter the content based on from the web page, right? And yeah, um, even though it provides features where we can ignore certain content from the web page, like let's suppose I want to ignore the header of the web page, etc., right? And yeah, so it do provides caching feature as well, where like the amount of time which is being used to scrap the web page, it is reduced. Like we can scrap the web pages in milliseconds. Earlier this time was very long time, like it takes long time in order to scrap websites, right? But yeah, so how in the behind the scenes this particular tool is saving our time. So what it does, so whenever we are providing any URL to this particular tool, what it does is it goes behind the scenes to that particular web page, and if same again and again we are making an request on the same web page, so it caches that results, and again it will show us the results from its cache only. So it has inbuilt functionality of the cache. And yeah, it uses async IO, where like if we it like it's as I mentioned, it's very fast. So that is the reason it's very fast. So like it uses multiple threads in order to get the data. So yeah, like our dependencies is almost installed. So let me just also get another command which we need to run before using this particular tool. So this is the second command. I will also explain you why these particular commands are important and why we need to install. So by this first particular dependency which I have installed, we've installed Crawl4AI. It basically installs all the packages it needs to run this particular script which is being used in order to scrap the data. And second, this is Crawl4AI setup is what it is doing behind the scenes. It's installing Playwright, which is helpful for navigating through the browsers. Like these browsers are headless browsers. In the traditional browser, in the traditional scrappers, we usually see the window from where we are scrapping the data, like the Chromium. If we are using Chromium driver, then Chromium web page opens, and from whichever page we are scrapping the data, we can see that particular page. So all these functionalities are also there, but now the thing which is known as headless browsers, they came across. Right, these are things are there. So usually you are seeing like the chat gpt and other like chat gpt feature, which is operator, right, which can do several tasks. So behind the scenes agents are working where they can buy itself book or buy any product from any website without any human intervention, right? Human just need to tell him like these are the tasks I need to perform. So behind the scenes the headless browsers works, and from there they usually perform the steps which we can't see, right? So let me do this also. It will try to test the test cases so that my everything which I have installed is correctly installed. Yeah, so let me just again went to the documentation over here. So I was there on the packages side, right? Even though if let's suppose I do want to ignore certain links which are external, I want to avoid social media links, we can do that. Even though we can create knowledge graphs out of this, we can do dynamic content. Like if there is any if there is a web page and we want to click on certain dynamic button, we can click using this and we can get the data from that particular page. So these type of functionalities it provides, right? Yeah, so which all these things which I have explained, these are mentioned over here. You can go through with the features, right? So content selection, extraction, and etc, etc, all these things are given over here. So yeah, you can go through with this particular documentation. Just this particular video just to give you an overview of what this particular tool is all about. And yeah, we will play with some code. Let me open its particular this particular collab notebook is given over here, which we can use as an example how this particular tool works. We can use this particular notebook in order to understand like how we want to configure it and we want to use it, right? But yeah, the installation process I guess I have shown you. Let me just create a file over here. I will name it as an okay. Okay, so let's go towards the this particular file. Okay, so here are also some examples mentioned over here. Like, let me just go towards the first example. Yeah, so one feature I forget to tell you, like we do have BM25 and content pruning features over here. Like and second is like we can also take screenshots of the web pages by using this particular tool. So this particular tool has a lot many features. You can explore this particular tool. So let me just show you in one basic example like how this particular tool works. So this is an example which they have provided us. Let me just use it and show you. Okay. Okay, but before going towards the example, let me just also show you this particular collab notebook. So in this, they have specified like what steps we need to follow in order to configure it. So here they have mentioned like this is the GitHub official repo, and this is the documentation link, and these are the modules which we need to install. But yeah, so this notebook is pretty old, so currently you can follow this updated documentation. You can also take the reference of this particular collab notebook. Okay, so yeah, let me back. So this is the first example which they have provided. Let me just use it. Okay, let me use this particular URL, okay, in order to get the information from a web page. So this is the URL they have specified. You can take any URL which works for you, like which you feel is relevant. So this is the particular URL they have mentioned, like for this kidocode.com. So this is a particular URL which I'm going to use in order to scrap the data out of it. Okay, let me just go over here and I will replace this particular URL with my URL which I have copied from there, and let me just save all the results which we are getting from this particular scrapper in an txt file. So from there we can view like what kind of content it is providing us. Okay, so let me just save it with open. We are going to save this results in output.txt. We are going to write within the file, and so I will also provide the encoding. Okay, so by this piece of code, what it will do, it will create one new file that which is named as an output.txt, right? And it will save the content inside that particular file. So currently, what all options it provides. Okay, so let me just run it. Okay, let's see what output we usually get. Let's wait for some time. Till then, we are getting. Okay, so it has initialized it, but yeah, like it has different functions which we can use, like the result.markdown. So what it will do, whatever data or the information it will scrap from this particular web page, it will convert that particular information into markdown format. So if I will show you this particular file, so you can see over here what it does. It has scrapped the navbar. So in the navbar we do have these kind of URLs. So if we go down, we will also be able to see the footer. So these kind of things usually mentioned in the footer. So we can use this particular information in order to provide as an input to the LLMs, and LLMs can take decisions on it. So similar, consider some finance use cases over here where we want to scrap any company's website, right? Where we want to know what this particular company does. So we can use an LLM and we can provide this particular output to the LLM, and LLM can make a decision. Like LLM can provide a summary of that particular page. So this is a very simple use case which I have told you. Um, so let me just like play around with it and let me show you more features. What all features it provides. Okay, so this is a basic example, but okay. Um, let me also show you that what all different functions we like what all different output formats it provides. Like, okay. Um, so let me go back to the simple crawling only. So these all different functions methods we can try with the results, like the output. We can get the raw HTML, then we can get the clean HTML, then we can get the fit markdown, success code, media links. Okay. Let me also show you the HTML format. So if I will, instead of markdown, I want HTML content. Even though LLMs understand both the types of content, like HTML content too and markdown content too. So that's not a problem. Okay, so let me go back. So this is an HTML content which it has provided us, right? I can clean this particular content and play around it. So you can explore these options too. But let me just move towards the important features like the caching feature, which is very helpful. Let's suppose if for the first time you see when I ran it, it took some time, right? It took around 4 to 5 seconds in order to scrap. Okay, let me just tell you one important thing over here. So for the first time when I started scrapping the data, it took around 13 minutes or 13 seconds of time in order to get the information from that particular web page. But next time when I scrapped it, it took around 4 seconds, 5 seconds, so 1.5 seconds. So you can see by this like how fast this is. So we are even though we are scrapping the same information from the same web page, right? So how fast it is in order to get the information from that particular web page. Okay, so let me just go back and explain you more features. Okay, so in the config in the config we can also define caching mode. Let me just explain you what I'm talking about. um, okay, so here we need to import one class that is cache mode, and we can use this particular cache mode inside our crawler run config, where we do have these kind of options where we can enable the caching, we can disable the caching, we can we can like read only, we can make it read only, we can make it write only. So till now, for now I can just keep it bypass, where every time it will consider whatever URL I have provided over here, it will consider it as a new URL and it will not cache the results. right? But if I will enable it, it will cache the results for me. But yeah, okay. So without further delay, let me just show you that by using this particular variable, what all different observations we can see. Um, so for the first time, it will take some time by using the bypass method. Okay, let's wait. Okay, it's completed. It took around 14 seconds. Okay, but now let me just enable it, and we need to run it 2 times, and we can see like what difference, like how much fast it is. Now you can completely see the difference over here. The first time it took 14 seconds, second time it took 37 seconds, like 0.37 seconds. In milliseconds it does our work. So you can imagine from this like how fast it is. Even though output is same, which we asked to provide us, like which is an HTML format only. Okay, let me just go back to the documentation again. Okay, so there is one more example which they have specified over here, which is this particular news website, in which what they want. Let me just go. So okay, so we have covered this. We have covered this particular feature, and next feature is, okay, we want to, if we want to click on certain button. So this is an NBC news site. So you can see we have a lot many articles over here, and we do have this particular button over here as well, where if we click on this particular button, so more articles will be loaded over here, right? And let me just use this particular URL and show you what I'm talking about. So I wanted to click on this particular button, and I want to see all the articles which I can see by clicking on this particular button. So this one, right? If we for now, I will just replace this particular URL with that URL which I've just copied, and I wanted to see the output in markdown format. In markdown format. Okay, let me run it. For the first time, it will take some time in order to get the data for us. But second time, if we will run on the same URL, it will fetch the results very fastly for us. Let's see the output. Okay, so it has gathered the information for us from the same website which we requested, and let's see what is the last article it has grabbed for us from this particular web page. Let me reload it. Okay, so this is the last article which it has grabbed. Let me just search it on the information which it has gathered. So this is the last article, and let's verify whether it has clicked on any button or not. So let me check whether this information is present or not. Okay, I wanted to check it. Okay, so we don't have this particular information available. Okay, let me just go again and search for this information. Okay, so list of 100 paid athletes, but this was only last article, right? Let me just check this Ray Dalio. This is the next article, Ray Dalio. Okay, uh, um, so we don't have this particular article over here, I can see, but let me just confirm it by copying the particular heading from here and check it inside the output. Okay, okay, it's pretty frustrating, right? Okay, so I can see like there are no results of this particular article. Now what I want is, I want to execute some JavaScript code inside my Python code, right? So these kind of functionalities are also there. So let me just show you what this particular code, whatever they have written, is like, how we can click on any button by using this particular code. If you see over here, what they have done is they wanted to execute this JavaScript code, and they need to define this particular JavaScript code inside the crawler run config method. And let me just tell you like what this particular code is doing. So what it is doing, it is searching for all the buttons which okay, let me just open the inspect tab from here, and if I will go on that particular button from here. Okay, so this is the button, right? So let me just tell you what the HTML elements corresponding to this button. So this is the correct, this is the button, so this is the class. Okay, so it is a button class. It is a type of button, and it contains this text which is load more. And we see what it is doing, it is searching on the whole web page, and it is trying to find all the buttons it has. And from these buttons, I'm looking for specifically into that button which has this text which is load more. And if you see on this particular button, we have this text which is load more. And yeah, and next is what we are doing to do is we are clicking on this particular button. We can also modify this JavaScript code where we can specify like how many number of times we want to click on this particular button. But let me just copy this particular piece of code from here. If you want to see like how we are grabbing the value of this particular button, I can show you. Let me just clear the console from here, and array dot from we are using document dot query selector all, then we are looking for button. Okay, so I need to also close it. So these all buttons we have which are there on this particular web page. And let me also use some other thing. uh, Let me define const load more button equals to, okay, let me just copy this particular content from here, copy paste, and yeah, we can use the find method where okay, where specifically we are looking for uh, a button which contains text. Okay, text, contain content. I can't see any method which is text content dot includes. Okay, so they have already provided me this functionality. Like, we just click on this. What it is providing me, it's an undefined. Okay, let me just change the text of this particular button. I can see the text is in capital letters. Okay, okay, now in this time they have provided undefined. uh, but yeah, like this is the right one. Let me just copy this particular same code whatever I have written over here and use it inside my code. Let me just look. Okay, just need make sure whatever code you are writing over here, it should be and like properly intended. Js code equals to just define this particular code inside over here, and then just define inside this js code equals to js code, and let's see what it does for us. Let me again run it and see what output it gathers for us. Hmm, it's taking some time. And make sure, like when I was playing with this particular tool, I observed is like whenever we are doing this thing where we want to click on this particular button only 2 or 3 times, right? So at there we need to also provide some sleep time so that our crawler should have some time in order to again look for these steps whichever we are specifying over here. So make sure to provide some sleep time so that it has some proper time in order to look for information. So if we are not providing any sleep time, so what will happen is that it will try to find information, but due to less time it will not be able to find this information. But let me just check whether whatever information we are trying to look for, it has gathered for us or not. Okay, so button text is load more only. Let me just replace it with the same text. Okay, let me again run it. Okay, so let me just also verify why this particular text which we are getting over here is in small letters only. uh, so the last article which I can see is this is the list of 100 highest paying athletes. Ray Dalio. Let me look for this particular article. Ray Dalio. Okay, so this article is not here. The 100 athletes from here, right? Let me just reload this particular button, and I wanted to see the next article, which is this uh, Ray Dalio to Trump administration. Okay, let me just copy this only. One thing which I want to mention over here is whenever we want to perform any operation, such as where we want to click on dynamic buttons, at that time we just need to make sure like this particular cache mode should be on disabled or on bypass mode. So why? Because whenever we are going to use the caching enabled, so what it will do, it will just get the data, whatever data it has cached for us. From there only it will get the results for us. But whenever we are doing the bypass, so then it will properly go towards the web page and look for that particular button, and it will click and get the information out of there. And let me just again run it and see for this particular article. Okay, so we wanted to look for, earlier it was not there, right? And let me just look for um, now we want to look for this particular information. So now you can see this particular article is also there, and even though lot many articles, right? I do want to show you some more features as well. You can refer this particular notebook from where I'm also referring this side by side. I wanted to show you this particular thing which is ignore links, right? And let me show you how this particular thing works. I need to import these two things too. Let me just import it on the top, very top. And okay, so I haven't copied completely. Let me just go back. But no, you understood like how to click on buttons, right? No, I wanted to show you that part as well, like the important one where if you want to ignore certain uh, content from the web page. Okay, so I imported these particular things. uh, Let me just show you this thing as well. Let's suppose so we have this option where we can ignore links, right? let me use this particular website only, which they have provided, like the wiki page link. But before using this particular URL, let me just show you a few more features if I want to ignore the external links. Okay, so here what I need to do, I need to just provide these things to uh, uh, okay, so we are also using content filtering options. Great. Now what is the correct option they are using over here is markdown.version 2. So now currently whatever information we want to access out of filtering from the web page, this is present inside the markdown version 2. But now I read from the documentation itself, they are trying to merge it inside the markdown only. But yeah, like for now it's working inside, for me it's working inside the markdown only. Let me just check. Let me just get the raw markdown out of here. I'm using this particular version only. Just use it over here. Okay, so now let me just run it. Okay, I have commented the text, but what I wanted to show you, like if whenever we are placing this value as in true, so by this specifying as in true, we are ignoring all the external links. Now earlier we were able to see a lot many links over here, right? On the top, let me just go on the top, right? So there we were seeing many links. So let me just turn it off, like turn it false, and see what results we are getting. Okay, till then it's scrapping data for us. Yeah, so you can imagine, like by turning this false and true, we are able to ignore those links as well, which we don't need, like all the external ones. But yeah, I will keep this true for now. Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to exclude certain HTML tags from the website itself, like content. So from this particular website itself, I wanted to ignore the navbar for the footer one. Let's see what happens. Okay, it started doing for us. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so now you can see earlier we had long navigation bar, right? But now navigation bar content is not there. So we can specify as many as tags over here, whatever tags we want to ignore. So yeah, that's it, like which I wanted to tell you about this particular tool, why this tool is very helpful and what all things we can do. You can explore a lot in, like from the documentation itself, what all these features they provide. Like they do provide this multi URL crawling. You can try it. You can try to create and replicate of one particular website by using this. You can create a knowledge graph out of it. And yeah, so you can look into this and you can try to explore. And yeah, one thing before like ending this video I wanted to mention is if you find this particular video is very helpful, so I'm so try to subscribe and like and make a comment on this particular video, so that it will provide me a motivation for creating more such videos.